If I can have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get started, I'm going to make a brief announcement. The city is tonight and moving forward until we hear differently, is pleased to offer both in-person and remote participation for this meeting in accordance with California Government Code Section 54953, as amended by Assembly Bill 707. Members of the public may observe the meeting and participate remotely through Zoom. If you wish to address the council during citizens' comments or on a specific agenda item, we ask that those attending in person complete a speaker card and provide it to the city clerk before the item is to be considered. Those participating remotely through Zoom should use the hand raise feature. The meeting facilitator will notify the mayor, and then the remote speakers will be waiting to provide comment, and each speaker will be recognized in turn. So I appreciate everyone attending in person and remotely. We're going to move on to item number 1.2, which is changes to the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
We have none, Mayor.
Any changes, council? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to item number 2, which is awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. 2.1, department updates.
Yeah, I just have one announcement, and then I'll leave it up to my departments to go ahead and move forward in order. I know at the last meeting we talked about having our public outreach coordinator Jasenia come out and give an update on her efforts. She is out of the office, and so we'll have it on the we'll just plan to have that on the August meeting. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. And we'll start with the first department.
All right, we'll start first with the fire department. Updates since last meeting. I'll start with staffing. On the fire division side, we currently have 4 vacancies, 2 firefighter paramedics and 2 firefighter EMTs. We do have a candidate who's about 3/4 of the way in backgrounds, so hopefully we'll have one of those spots filled soon. On the EMS division, we have 1 non-safety medic vacancy. And then we have a workers' comp firefighter that is going to be out 6 to 8 months or so. So we're considering that kind of a vacancy right now too, because we have positions to fill while his absence. On the apparatus side of things, the second remount ambulance was sent down to the shop on July 2nd, and we're anticipating a December delivery. The ambulance, the new ambulance that was purchased in 2023, it's anticipated to be here about August. It developed a check engine light as it was being loaded on, transferred and being shipped out to California. So I had to go to the Freightliner shop in Florida from where the manufacturing plant was. It had to go to another shop. So we just have a little slight delay there. However, the engine is still on pace to be here in September, and will probably be here before the ambulance. As far as projects go, I don't know if you guys noticed and saw it yet, but the LED sign was installed. It was installed on June 30th, so all of our projects for last year were completed on time. I mean, every one of them was closed out. If you guys saw the signs, it looks pretty good. Chief Milligan is coordinating with Jasenia and putting all the signs up there. And I don't know if you saw, one of the first signs was the fireworks penalties was one of the very first signs we put up. And now we have open house and our National Night Out and stuff like that being displayed. It looks really good. It's bright. You can see it. It's pretty impressive. So thank you guys for that. On the public education side of things, the firefighters were out there on the 4th of July. They were out there at the event that the chamber put on and hosted the water fights. Our engine crew will be out there this Saturday at the Ross grand opening. And last thing is the fireworks enforcement night. I wanted to just give you some information on that. We had 2 fire investigators, myself and Battalion Chief Milligan were out there. We were completely understaffed and overwhelmed. There was too much to handle. We were able to issue 3 to 4 citations of actually catching people in the act. We also had the crews out as extra things, but then they were interrupted with actual calls for service. And we had 3 vegetation fires and 1 garbage can fire that night as well. So just very, very busy. It seemed like there was a extra presence during the event in certain areas that we just couldn't get to. So we're gonna be working on this over the next year or so until the next 4th of July and come up with some things we can do for additional presence or enforcement. But we'll be working with the city manager and command staff to kind of develop some things and bring to you guys over the next couple months. But we're gonna need to do something. It was just very chaotic. So that's my report for the fire department. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? So just one question. How many ambulances do we currently have running right now then?
3.
3.
Yeah, all the ambulances are running. The 1 vacancy on the EMS side is being filled with overtime.
Okay. And how about the drone? What's the status of the drone?
The drone is available.
Okay.
We have 3 pilots.
And was it used?
No, because we don't have a policy in place yet, or we don't have an ordinance available, and we haven't had council approval to use the drone as enforcement. And those are some of the things that we're thinking about that we need to address and come back to you guys with.
Well, we appreciate, your diligence in making sure that there was actually in-person contact. So thank you for that, and thank you for keeping us safe.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I guess I'll go next. So I have a lot of things on my list. I'm going to buzz through some of these. Feel free to stop me. I'm going to not bore you with some of the mundane stuff we're doing, but if you want a traffic update, I'm more than happy to do that. We're doing a lot of traffic type stuff that comes out of the Chiefs Advisory Board. So Councilmember Schindler was there yesterday, and he was hearing some of what we're doing. But I'm just going to keep it high level for now, capital projects mostly. So I'm sure you're all wondering what's happening with the splash pad. So we have the structure, the shade structure erected. We have the shade structure slab poured. We're currently working on the underground plumbing for the toys themselves. So we should see that all complete by the end of next week with ready to pour the slab portion of the actual splash pad the August 3rd. So everything goes to plan. We'll have the bathroom building delivered mid to late August, and then we'll be busy as bees connecting everything inside of that, all of the equipment that goes in there. So a lot of good activity. I don't know if you've been by there, but just a lot of good activity. We feel good about the project. We're still on track for an early September completion and hopefully commission by the mid to late September range. So we are actively completing design for the food court. I have to not call it what we've been calling it internally because we haven't gotten that officially blessed. But we have a name we will bring back to council for some blessing in a future date. But the food court project is moving along nicely. We have a property acquisition that we'll have to do to complete the project. We're working through that. That'll come to you at some point in the near future. Design is about, I'd say 75% civil design complete. Our RFPs for architectural and dry utilities, electrical, are due tomorrow. So we anticipate having a recommendation for award on the 6th of August for council to consider. So we hope to be in design with the architect late August. Let's see, what else? I got a lot going on. We were able to value engineer some aspects of the sodium hydrochloride project that we had earmarked from Assemblyman Gray's office, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to come in at a decent budget. So might not be the project we wished for, but it'll be the project that works. So more to come on that. We're dusting off the plans right now. We're anticipating going out to bid with that hopefully end of August. So you should see that hopefully the second meeting of August. We do have the rapid feedback sign on Polk. That's the sign that as you're coming into town, I'm sorry, it's on Jane. As you're coming into town westbound, you'll get flashing lights, flashing blue lights at you if you're going over 55. So we do want to get a speed limit sign in there as well. The prima facie speed limit is 55, but it's really not posted anywhere. So we want to figure out what exactly it is and then post it. But we assume it's 55. But we'll be checking with CHP and Caltrans. Slurry Seal project, I'm not sure if you saw it through town. We completed that recently. Notice of completion is on the consent calendar for today. Striping's complete. We feel like they did a pretty good job. So nothing to report there. We are anticipating starting we're calling it the California and Baker project. It's a complete reconstruct of the road of California between Baker and Cambridge. Unfortunately, at the beginning of September, we anticipated starting at the beginning of summer, but it got delayed somewhat. So we are in contact with the school district, and we are hoping to be able to work through those transportation issues as they come up. But that's something that's coming up very quickly. So that is out. That is the bid is due. I want to say next week. Let's see. We got a lot going on. We are anticipating demolishing the burn house. The Buchanan burn house is what we're calling it, in the middle of August. So that's we're anticipating having that go as smoothly as the last one. Nothing really to report there. Just we're hoping to get that done. The gas anode project, we did install 2 gas anodes, and we had some small problems with the conductors between the rectifier and the anodes. We are going to just have the contractor repair the conductors between, and we'll do the digging. So we're anticipating a closeout middle of August. Let's see. I think that's all I have. We have a lot going on, so hopefully I didn't skip anything important. But if you have any questions, please feel free.
Council, any questions? So I just had a couple questions. The project from Congressman Gray, he said we're going to not get the one we wished for, but we're going to get a project. What's the
engineer's estimates for the project came in quite a bit higher than we anticipated, and it was all about the shade structure that would be over the canopy over the tanks. So ideally, we would want to protect those tanks. It would be best for long-term longevity of the tanks. That's going to increase the price probably 30 to 40%. We wanted to keep it in the $1.2 million range. The engineer's estimates with the canopy were about 1.9 to 2 million. So we haven't completely decided to abandon that, but to bring this project in, to bring you a project that we can approve, we're hoping to eliminate that and have the engineers, have the bids come in at appropriate amount. But we do anticipate having that be a add alt on the contract. So if council does decide they do want to spend the money on that, it'll be included in the add alt contract. So.
Okay. And then the wrapping feedback light on Jane, where's that located at?
That'll be something the council has some direction on. We anticipate putting it on Jane near Enterprise. I'm sorry, yeah, near Enterprise, but you can give us some direction on where you would like to see that too. So.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can leave it on, it's fine. All right, I will keep it short and sweet. On the police department side, staffing wise, we are currently at 20 sworn officers. I do have one starting next Thursday. I'll be attending her graduation at COS tomorrow, actually, so she'll be starting pretty quick. We have 2 more in backgrounds, so if we're lucky, they pass everything, we'll be up to 23, and we do have a list to interview, so hopefully we'll be full staffing by the end of the year, middle of next year, with processes and everything is what we're hoping for. Crime-wise, our UCR stats across the board, year-to-date and month-to-month are down except for theft stuff. So theft is the only place where we're actually seeing an increase. Just a reminder for people to lock things up, keep their valuables out of sight, keep their cars locked, houses locked, help bring that number back down. We have been issuing more radar citations for speed. I think last month we're at 15 now, and I just got the guys back from training. We've got 2 brand-new radar guns out there, so giving us a total of 4 radar guns, sorry. We will have more officers certified as soon as I find the classes for it, so hopefully we'll be hitting that a little bit harder. And lastly, we are in the beginning stages of planning the 100-year anniversary for the police department. The tentative date for that's gonna be July 31st, 2027. Through some research, we were able to find the closest date we can. The police department was actually founded July 29th, 1927. So that puts it in the middle of the week, so 31st should be the closest weekend date for it. For that, we have 2 events planned, one in the morning for, I guess you'd call it like a memorial unveiling, and then a dinner that night that we're trying to get planned and whatnot. So when we get more details, we'll get that to you guys. Other than that, any questions?
Any questions from council?
What was the date on that event for the 100?
July 31st, 27.
Next year, right?
Next year, yeah.
Okay. And do you need anything from us? Because we would love to have, that'll be a big thing. It's 100 years, so
It will,
if we can, you could get with Sean and give him a list of what we can, so we could approve it?
yeah, we've got a committee going. Sean's been coming to the meetings, so we have, you know, we want guest speakers at both events. And then he's got more details I'm sure he can talk to you guys about with,
perfect, yeah.
And there is funding in the budget for this fiscal year to help support that event too, so.
That'd be awesome. We'd love to see what we can do with it.
yeah, so with that, we'll have Centennial badges, Centennial patches the officers will be wearing for the year. Hopefully I'll have a mock badge, I'm hoping next week for approval, and if that's the case, we'll get those ordered up for everybody, and January 1, we'll have the new stuff.
You mentioned radars. Can we get those guys to work real hard out around the Jane and Enterprise area?
So
Because there's
normally-
a lot of complaints for speed, both coming and going. in and
Yeah,
out
they've
of
been hitting right there at Polk and Thompson, so as soon as you come over the bridge into town, that's where a lot of them have been focusing.
town. Okay, perfect.
For some reason, right when they get to the hotel, it's like,
Yeah. Spot to test the speed, I guess.
anyone else?
Oh, actually, I have one more. Is there a plan for the sponsorship again? For the police department, for us to approve the sponsorship?
We're working on that.
Oh, you mean for the recruitment?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be scheduling time to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Anyone else? Seeing none? Thank you so much.
For the finance department, we received the fiscal year 24-25 financial statement draft last week, and so it's currently in review, and I plan to bring it to council next month. Staff is busy closing out last fiscal year that ended on June 30th, so we have about 45 days to close out the fiscal year. And then the chart of accounts is still in progress. Hoping to finish that at the end of August as well. Last month, we finalized and approved the fund balance and reserve policy, so that was completed. And those were on my project list. Upcoming projects that we have is the implementation of the new budget application. We are also looking at automating accounts payable. And there's a payment process called Virtual Pay that we will be working with our current bank for payments. And we are also in the process of working on putting together a master fee study, RFP. That's all I have.
Any questions from council? No? Okay. Thank you so much. All right, and I think that is all the staff reports. Get Going to move on to Code Enforcement Report, June 2026. Mr. Barone?
Thank you, Mayor. So we have, I'm not sure if you're able to review the report, but we were able to open some cases. We had a abandoned residential property we opened a case on, an abandoned vehicle that we both opened and closed. Two animal cases opened. A lot of property maintenance issues and that continues to be the bulk of our work. And we've been trying to reinvigorate the Keep Coalinga Clean initiative and going down the corridors in the downtown and making sure we're addressing issues as they arise. That's the short of it.
Perfect. Any questions from council?
For the trees, do you guys get with PG&E? I know I've had some residents say that they send them a letter and PG&E doesn't come to trim the trees and they don't execute on the date sometimes. Is there a way that you guys could work with PG&E and see if, because the resident will wait until PG&E, basically send them a letter for the date of they're gonna trim or prune a tree, I guess, or a light post, but is there a date that, can you guys kind of work, or how do you guys do that?
I can look into that. I'm not sure. PG&E typically runs their own schedules and sometimes they're a little elusive to work with just because there's so many different sections. But I'm happy to look at that because
Oh, okay.
they're very cooperative when we
All right,
reach
sounds
out.
good. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, going to move on to item number 2.3, Strategic Plan Implementation, Envision Coalinga Project List Monthly Update, June 2026.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, we are wrapping up 2025 strategic planning efforts. We made a lot of progress on the projects and on the implementation. Some of these, as you know, are a little bit longer term efforts and they've made their way into fiscal year 27 into this later part of the year. But we have finished quite a few projects. Some are just at the tail end of the projects, and just kind of going over a few. I know a lot of the things that are brought up by staff during department updates are actually part of these strategic planning efforts and projects, so I'm not going to repeat those. But we are basically doing the final touches on our animal facility off of 6th Street. Just wrapping up the last few items on the location, but it's just about done. So we're getting close. Center Median project, just a little update on that. We've basically rejected the award, and I think as we kind of mentioned and what's discussed in one of the consent consent agenda items related to the groundskeepers. We're going to be utilizing our own resources to try and complete that project as basically a cost-effective measure. Once we've kind of looked more into it, Jesse and I decided to move forward with utilizing our own resources, enhancing our resources, and utilizing those to take care of some of these items that we've put together. In terms of the slurry seal, Jesse mentioned that, and so that project's wrapped up. In terms of some other public works, the backflow, we have some, installing a bunch of backflow enclosures, making sure all those are done. All the items have been purchased. We're just needing to utilize the service. We need to get on the schedule with our guys to install the cages and the bags for all the backflow enclosures for the city. In terms of some of the other items, the paving of the parking lot, I know there's some preliminary work going on in Public Works. That's one of the projects that kind of moved over into this year. The backup generator connections for the lift stations, those are still in progress and moving forward. The next request for public records software, it's public records requests. We're in the implementation phases of that right now. And so that'll actually streamline our public records request process, and then also the one meeting agenda software. That one is, it looks like, I think they're gonna be doing a test meeting here in the next week or so, Once we get to that, once we're able to go through a test meeting, be able to go through that process, we'll actually engage the council as well, and we'll probably end up doing some type of mock meeting as well, so we're all familiar with the new agenda software and get you guys up to speed on that. Fire training center improvements, that's gonna be ongoing throughout this next fiscal year. And then I know Maya had mentioned a lot of things in the financial services and a lot of the changes and a lot of the automations, efficiencies that we're gonna be looking at. So we're really excited about a lot of the things that are starting to really get some traction, that we'll be able to institute in the near future. But in terms of that, that's a lot of it's kind of coming to a slowdown in terms of the projects in 2025. We are working on compiling, organizing the, we're in 2027 fiscal year projects. And we're definitely working hot and heavy on having a visualization of the project so you guys can see progress. And so Mai and Jesse have been kind of working on a solution that will work where all staff can be involved in the process and then show that percentage progress to the council on a monthly basis, as well as what's kind of progressed in that previous month. We're hoping to see that probably in the second week in August, because we'd like to get ourselves the full month completion and then give staff time to provide the updates. And then by the second meeting of each month, we'll make sure that we have those reports to you. And we'll kind of spend some time going through it so you guys can see where we're at. So we'll have a new, fresh look at the list. And we'll have it broken down by one-time projects and strategic projects. And so as you know, this report really kind of includes just the strategic projects that came out of the strategic planning, but we have all this big, long list of one-time projects. We're trying to compile everything so you guys can see everything that we identify as one-times and the strategic implementation at the same time, so you can see all of it together, so we'll have them tagged. So we're still working on it. It's a technical feat for us, but we're still working on trying to get that together so you guys can see a good organized project list. And that's all I got.
Excellent. Any questions from council?
Just real quick, I know we talked in the past about the community calendar. Is there anything on that? Have you guys found something that you think is gonna work?
Yes, we're, Jasenia's has gone through a couple webinars on a couple solutions. And we were just actually talking about it earlier in the week about a possibility of trying to integrate something. And we talked with Scott this week too, and had kind of a brief conversation about it, trying to see what solution may work. It's a matter of just trying to find what works and how we're going to implement it. But I think that Jasenia's got a good idea on a program that would work for that community calendar, and then seeing how we can expand it out to be able to be with other agencies as well.
Yeah, I'd like the school to be involved, the college, the park and rec. It's all in one.
Yeah, because no matter what, one entity has to be the administrator of it, even if others can tie directly into it and put their information into it. It's just trying to find that. And I know Jasenia's had a lot on her plate lately, so I know that it's something on her mind. And so I think as soon as a couple of these events and some things wrap up, we're gonna be putting our efforts into that and finalizing that approach.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 3, which is citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for follow-up and a report. Citizens' comments submitted in writing to the city clerk by 5 p.m. on the day of the city council meeting shall be distributed to the city council and included in the record. However, they will not be read. So I guess first I will ask if we have any citizens' comments from Zoom. Nope, seeing none. All right, and then I will open citizens' comments up to the public here. But first, before I do that, I do want to recognize that we have Dr. Moore in the audience. It's always nice to have administration from other agencies, especially those that we work very well with and that we cherish those relationships. So I just want to formally thank you for that. And then I'll just move on to citizens' comments. Does anybody like to speak? Seeing none? All right. We will move on to public hearings, where we have none. Moving on to the consent calendar. We have, let's see, 17 items. Is there anything that anyone would like to pull off for information?
I would like to pull 5.2 for information and 5.11 to discuss quickly.
16 for me.
5.7 for information, please.
And then I'm going to go with 5.5. All right, let's start with number 5.2. Informational update, fiscal year 2026 COPS hiring program grant application for school resource officer.
Thank you. Mayor and council, this was an informational item just to kind of give the council an update and the public an update that the city is pursuing a grant under the DOJ Community-Oriented Policing Services, which is the COPS grant, which is, the irony there of it's a hiring program to support an additional for the school resource officer in partnership with the school. So we've talked with the school and expressed interest in the possibility of bringing a school resource officer. And this program actually will help support over a 3-year program, essentially pay for almost 1 year of the cost of the school resource officer. So with the deadline looming soon on this application, we had kind of reached out, talked with the school, and wanted to move forward. If we're awarded the grant or we get a conditional offer for the grant, we'll continue to work with the school on developing an agreement and the logistics moving forward. But this grant would be a 3-year commitment to move forward with funding potentially for the SRO. So just wanted to give you guys an update. There's a little bit of background in here on the program, but just wanted to give you guys some information and a heads up that we are pursuing this as at least an opportunity to be more of to reduce the cost of this program.
Was this one of those things that we talked with them about on the DC trip? Did this
Yes.
come from that?
Yeah, we got a lot of information from them. They highly encouraged us to apply because of the programs we've had in the place in the past, and this is definitely a program that they encouraged us to look at.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions or comments? Anything from the public? Okay. I just want to comment on this, that this is one of those things that we learned about in DC, that there was grant opportunities. And part of the thing about going to the DC trip with Townsend, where we got very close and personal with a lot of these agencies, was not only to look for grants and opportunities for our city, but to also look for things for our partners and our stakeholders. And this is a great opportunity, and I'm hoping that the city and the school can get this, because I think it'd be amazing. So, item number, let's see, 5.5, authorization for city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding with Calinga-Huron's Unified School District for summer pool operations.
Yes, so this is basically memorializing the commitment from the council at previous council meetings to help facilitate and help fund the pool operations for the summer. And so in working with the school, it is a MOU not to exceed $16,000 for the city to assist with the ongoing operations. The school did start in late June in terms of pool operations, and continuing to go through that process through the remainder of the month. So this is basically just kind of the memorialization of that cooperative agreement with the school to help participate in that effort to bring that pool, get that pool open this year.
So I wasn't going to pull this item except for the fact that the superintendent is here, and I did want to express how happy a lot of residents are that this was able to happen. I want to thank the school formally and everyone involved for this. Not everyone goes to the pool, obviously, but for the people that did go and do continue to go, it is a big deal, because a lot of those folks don't have anywhere else to go. I went on the 4th of July with my family. When I was there for the short period of time, which was not the whole time, I counted 100 people. I actually counted by hand. So there was 100 people at that point in time that I was there, so I'm sure that more people went that day. And I know that other people have been attending. And I myself would just, I mean, obviously this isn't a future agenda item section yet, but I do want to express that I would love to move forward with this project in perpetuity, if possible, working with the school to finalize numbers. I know that this year was kind of rushed, and I really appreciate the school for all their efforts with us and allowing this to move forward. I do know that maybe costs were a little bit lower than maybe they should have been, and maybe things might be a little bit more expensive. But I think that the city and the school could work together in making that happen. And so I just want to really appreciate and thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for making that happen. A lot of people in my community, specifically in my district, did go to that event, and just want to let you know that it had a large impact. So thank you so much.
Go.
Also, I just want to piggyback off that, moving forward. And for future years to come, the importance of it opening up ASAP after school. School ends, opening it to when school starts is very important. I grew up in my district, walking distance from the school. We utilized it as a kid, like, consistently. So again, thank you very much, but definitely what we can do to work together and help to keep that open and make it a lasting thing, so it's entire summers, is very important. It's appreciated.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And I know it was last minute, and I would like to work on expanding it next year and maybe more hours available, more days a week. And possibly even talk about the possibility of getting something done with that slide. Just thinking.
We just might know a metal worker that knows how to fix things
I
like
know
that.
people.
Maybe, we know people, right?
Sorry, I'm gonna get used to this. Yeah, so I've been talking to a certain representative about this, about the school. I know Fireball just got their, I think it was Fireball, that they got a brand new pool. I kind of communicated with them to try to make this a yearly thing. Not only that, but to open it sooner, even before school ends. I would like to see, like, just, you know, just like Councilman Louder just expressed, that it's something that we used to do when we were young, and it's, you know, could maybe open it up sooner. It opens up doors for even sponsorships. You know, there's somebody that reached out and see if they could sponsor, you know, so much money for some kids that, I know it's, what is it, $2? But, yeah, but sometimes it's just like a kid wants to go by himself, their parents are working, you know, maybe have that funding there too as well. But yeah, I would like to get as much with the council and staff and school to work on that, you know. But I like to see also, you know, I'm one of the football coaches, so I like to see the kids, they go through a lot during the summer for practice. I like to, if we can sponsor or get together and sponsor them a swimming day for them. And, yeah, so, thank you.
Sorry to put you on the spot, sir. We just really appreciate you being here.
Come here, you get it, right?
Yeah, no, and if you ever want to say anything, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to try and, you know, say, hey, I know you weren't thinking of coming and speaking, but if you have something to say, you're more than welcome anytime to talk, and so we really appreciate you coming.
Well, I just want to say thank you as well, and I'm enjoying and I don't know if I.
Please, yes, please do. I almost asked you earlier, but I know you don't like being put on the spot, so.
No, I appreciate the input, and I'm enjoying the partnership that's developing and meeting with Sean and Mayor Vosberg. I think it's so important that we partner together, and I think this is a good start for the district, and definitely will be looking into how we can expand that program. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
One more thing also, just to kind of add, the partnership as it grows, the financial burdens and everything that are going to go with it, I think it's important that we can possibly prepare, especially if we can put it in our budget, growing our pool so we can hold meets, also pulling from other schools, pools here. I think it's important to add that. Upkeep's gonna come. I mean, it's gonna be a very expensive project one day. So, if we plan for that now, get something rolling, we start working something out. Not only do we have it open to the community, but it also supports the school systems, the EELs and everything else. We can grow that as big as possible, bring more schools here. If we can do meets, keep that all summer long, and we're a main pivot for the meets, I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, and we're willing to invest in this. We know that over the past years, that the pool's kind of been passed around, and unfortunately, funding is always an issue, but I think we're all committed to trying to work together to try and bridge that funding gap and help the school, and we can all be good partners, so appreciate that.
Yes, and especially we could open the door to a lot more businesses and everything, just to see how they can get involved, because we also do have those years that water becomes a problem. So we want to make sure that we lock in this and make it good for the community. And, we're here 4 years, and, plans can always change, so we want to make sure we implement it, and we have a structure for this plan that actually is very strong, and it goes on for future years.
Yeah, and we're working on structures with Measure J right now, which is our sales tax, and we're looking at things that we can add into that measure, front-facing projects to the public. And we haven't had those discussions yet, but this is one of the things that I think a lot of us want to support. And so I just think this is a great thing, so. All right, move on to item number 5.7, adopt resolution number 4345, opting out of Fresno County's Urban Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, for federal fiscal years 2027, 28, and 29. Sean?
Thank you. This is just probably for information. The purpose of the request for this is declining participation in Fresno County is that the county receives kind of a prorated share of CDBG funds, and folks or agencies that participate receive a very small amount of that amount of funding. And we found, and I have been here since 2006, so I remember the days when we were actually part of the consortium, and it took several years, and I mean probably 6 to 7 years, if not longer, to actually generate enough revenue to do one project. The last project that we did was actually the Van Ness Storm Drain Project, if anybody remembers that. That's basically from Forest to Elm Avenue. That was a $600,000 project that took, I think, probably a decade to save enough money. And so after that project, we decided to decline and not participate. And since then, we've been able to generate 10+ millions of dollars in funding. That's what helped fund the senior housing project on Polk Street. Because we're able to go competitively after especially home funds, which are the housing investment funds, and we were able to generate more money. I think the senior housing project generated over $6 million. We recently applied for the new senior housing project on Walnut, and we're anticipating and hoping to get an award for that. We wouldn't be able to apply for those if we didn't have if we were participating. And it's not that it's a bad program, but I think for the smaller cities, you have an opportunity. We've got good grant writers, we've got good vision. We can apply for these funds and really get a bigger bang for our buck. And so far it's paid off. I think even over the years. And so we've kind of analyzed it and feel that it's still appropriate that we continue to opt out and competitively go after these grants, because we do have development that's trying to pursue the community. And you can also go after infrastructure grants too. So we're continuing to monitor that as well. But on the housing side, it really helps on the housing side. So that would be the purpose why you're seeing us recommend declining that.
Yeah, that was exactly why I wanted you to pull that and give the information. I want the community to know that we're not passing up money. We're leaving ourselves open for more money. So when we pass up something like this, it doesn't lock us in, which we would 3 years lose out of, like you said, losing a lot more money instead of, this small amount. So that was exactly what I was looking for. Appreciate it.
I mean, I think it's a great idea that we single out ourselves from things like this, because I'm glad, that you guys and the staff is doing the investigation and work of what money we're getting. That's very important, because I've always stress enough that, yeah, we're in Fresno County, but, you know, we get the cents and not the dollars. So I'm glad that you guys are, you know, pinpointing and seeing if, you know, what benefits us, because that's a big, big difference from a decade to now what you're doing, and I really, to the staff and everybody, and I think it's very important, and this is why sometimes we go one-on-one, and just like the mayor just pointed that it's very important that we go singled out our Washington DC, because we get a lot more work done like that, and we get a lot of the financial grounds to us, and I'm glad that you guys are doing that. We appreciate it. It's good. And to the community too, it's not that we're not putting in the money, it's the money's being held somewhere else. So, thank you.
All right, item number 5.11, authorization to hire temporary extra help groundskeepers for citywide landscape maintenance and beautification.
Thank you. Just to kind of give a quick overview, this kind of stemmed from the conversations that Jesse and I had related to not only ongoing challenges with existing maintenance, but also with the recent discussion related to the median project and our lighting and landscaping district and how we can better manage these facilities. And so we've talked about doing we're finding that in certain times of year, especially the growing seasons, we're really running into challenges with the ability to actually keep up with the required maintenance. We're adding trails, we're adding a lot of extra infrastructure that requires ongoing maintenance. And so with this, we're requesting to hire 4 basically part-time groundskeepers to not only, one, help with catching up on some of the things that we feel like we're behind on, but also really trying to implement the projects moving forward in this fiscal year, including the median projects and some of the areas that are under the light and landscaping maintenance district. And so we're going to utilize our own forces to implement these projects. And so we'll be able to, and really this is pretty much a cost neutral effort because we can utilize the LLMD funding to help pay for some of the personnel costs. And then we're also going to undertake the remaining half, and we will augment it with the project costs. So we'll be able to absorb it in the one-time project costs that we've adopted in the budget. And so that is our plan, basically moving forward, and we'll utilize these employees on a temporary basis, part-time, to be able to kind of get through these projects and try to get these done timely for the community. So that would be the purpose of that. So not to be a surprise for these new items right after the budget's passed. Any questions?
Yeah, I love this. I think if we could get in-house work done, I think I've seen that it works a lot better and it's a lot more, budget management better, it's less costing. And if we can do it instead of hiring a company that's gonna charge us $100,000 or $200,000 just to pull a weed, I'd rather do it in-house. So I think, this is a very good idea, and I would like to see it implemented, how it goes. Because we could also get some other staff to help with that, right? With the part-time, if we hire somebody.
Yeah, so we'd have this is adding to our additional 4 that we
Right.
already have. We have 4 full-timers, so we'll be utilizing those services. And if there's any more in-depth kind of work that needs to be done, we brought on the maintenance workers
Yeah.
as well to bring in
Okay.
heavy equipment usage and those types of things too.
Yeah, because I know they get busy and, I would like to see that, I know the other staff gets busy from doing a project instead of.
Yes, the day-to-day is
Yeah.
taxing enough, just the ongoing weekly
Exactly.
maintenance on top of special projects. And so that draws in a lot of our maintenance workers. And the purpose of the groundskeepers was to alleviate some of the ongoing efforts that putting the maintenance workers into the groundskeeping realm where they can focus more on the infrastructure, water, wastewater, streets,
Yeah,
that kind of
okay.
stuff. So it's a balance, but we're finding that as we expand infrastructure and improve facilities, it requires more time-consuming
Okay.
maintenance.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So I mainly pulled this because I agree with it. I think it's great. Hopefully we can keep it local. But I think in this day and age, with the wages going up and people sitting in jobs and starter jobs, the youth they really don't have a whole lot of opportunity. And I would think something like this could play into a summer youth program, focus on maybe hiring youth to do this. Is that a possibility?
We can look into it. We might be able to utilize just the youth and government program where we can offer opportunities for the youth to work with the groundskeepers. So these would be more of our main hired part-timers, but we could look at involving the youth in the summer to offer it through the youth and government. So we had our youth and government employee earlier, really helping out with code enforcement, but it's kind of the same thing. We can be specific to, hey, get outside, let's, work with some of the maintenance workers and some of the groundskeepers and help beautify the city, because that's what they're doing.
If that's something we could
So,
do, I'd like to see
We can look
that.
into it, yeah.
Yeah, again, exactly. The school system has a summer youth program, gets people in high school, right out of high school working. Our summers are where we do all our groundskeeping and outdoor work, weed control. This is all low-level, grassroots labor work that kids right out of high school make some money, go to work. They're gonna be the next force coming to work for the city anyways. So get their foot in the door. So with a program we can develop and we can get going, I think something like this, we were able to use everybody.
Sure.
So, I mean, without tying your hands, I mean, I'd like to give direction on this to make this a youth initiative to where we are hiring kids that are, whatever the age they can start working to whatever, because I do think that this is well needed, and I do think that if there's no jobs, which I have a hard time even finding jobs in McDonald's for kids these days. So I think that this is something the kids could do. I think it could get them outside. I think that's a prime time for the time where it could be detrimental to make sure that some of these folks have something positive to do. And I'm not saying an internship or an unpaid position. I'm saying like a paid thing where they would be your part-time, labor force working with some of these people. I mean, I'm not trying to tie your hands, but I do think that we have a large population of kids out there that do need jobs, and I'd love to see them employed.
Yeah, I think with this, it may be a little challenging to, without getting too much into details in terms of specifying who you can hire and who you can't, to ensure that you have fair labor practices when you're hiring. But I think that maybe what we'll do is we'll look and see if we can do something under a youth program, or maybe there's like a stipend paid or something that we do similar to the youth in government, because they have to be paid at a minimum wage, even if they're like an intern.
Yeah,
So-
like I'm saying,
so we
I
can build
wouldn't-
it.
What I'm saying is I don't want them to be interns though. I want it to be specifically like 15 to 18-year-olds being hired, specific. I don't.
Are we able to target a youth group of working permit to 19?
We'll have to look.
Yeah.
So I'd like to table this item then until we can look, because I want to give direction on that to make that happen. I'd like to make that, I don't want to let this go, because there's 4 positions here that we could have kids doing this job. And I'd love to have kids moving into our, like you said, this is like a move into situation to our government. And I just see that a lot of times that, in fact, everywhere in this city that you go, there's older adults that are taking the part-time work from the kids. And I would like to give at least some opportunity at the city level for kids to be able to do it.
I like the idea. I think the challenge is that school's gonna be back in session here in about less than probably, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And these are positions that we're gonna need longer outside of that period of time. And the hiring process wouldn't even probably occur until after that. We still have to verify if we can specifically target certain age groups for these positions. Not that I'm opposed to that. I think that, but in order to complete these projects and not have any delay in getting these projects done, I would, hopefully we can move forward with this, and then we can come back with some, maybe some recommendations on even a separate program. We're talking, part-time, these would basically be like probably minimum wage jobs for groundskeepers. Whether or not that's something we want to integrate into a separate program, but I need to be able to get more information from the attorney when it comes to specifically hiring a certain age range, because that age range is going to be in school here in the middle of August.
So, with these duties, I mean, obviously, it's hot out, all the way until like September, October. It's hot out throughout that whole area. Is this something that can be done in the later hours, or is this something that is specifically done in the?
It'd be normal business hours, because they're supervised by, general employees that are working here. So it's gonna be during normal business
Do,
hours.
I know when I was in school, years and many years ago, they had work programs. Does the school do something like that could be part of this type of thing?
Like a work program?
Work program?
So maybe we can just have,
The school does have a work program. We were just talking about it, something I did when I was a kid. It's not as big as it was, because it was pretty extravagant when I did it. Now, I don't know how many kids do it. Interest is probably another thing, but there is something there, and I think Scott has some information.
And I don't mean to hijack your item here, but if this is something that we can't get done for this time around, I'd definitely like an agenda item to get it, to be doing it going forward.
Oh, yeah, I think we could build a kind of a summer program where there's opportunities to have students or, and if we can, depend on how we can basically create a student work program during the summer. Our groundskeepers we can use the help, they can use the help.
I
So
don't
especially if we stay within in this arena, I think we would definitely have the ability to have these, I would think we could probably figure something out. So I think that would be reasonable, because we could develop the program.
I don't want to interrupt, but I did receive a outreach from the ROP instructor that works with Fresno County, and there was a desire for the high school to have a couple students work with us. The timing was very limited, like 8:58 to 11:12. So I mean, we were trying to work through some of those challenges, and we still might be able to accommodate some of it. But I just want to make you aware of that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Scott?
Yeah, I know last year my son did the school program. He worked from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They pulled weeds, they washed buses, they moved furniture when they were cleaning floors. They did all kinds of stuff. And I think if the city could arrange, figure something out after summer, because like I said, there's no jobs for kids right now because older, you want to have a theater kid. Average age there was 24, 25 year old holding down and doing jobs. I don't want to hold that, but I think it's going to be something. Kids to have something like that. Find a place to have it. Sure. That sounds great. They have about 40 kids left. Yeah, they did it. Okay.
All right. So, any other questions or comments on this before we move on? Okay, so I think we'll have a future agenda item come back for this, and we'll move forward with it how it is, with the caveat that understanding that we do want youth to be involved in this type of thing, but we don't want to tie anyone's hands, and understanding that we still need to get with legal. We will have some kind of future agenda item probably to address this in the future.
Mayor, just make sure I'm clear with your direction. So you want to go ahead and move on with this, and next year, be prepared in the spring for something in the summer.
Well, and I think Mayor Pro Tem Schindler is probably going to bring back a future agenda item, and he'll address this. But yeah, for right now, you guys can just move forward as it sits.
Thank you, sir.
And with anticipation of breaks coming up, I mean, we have a long Christmas break, stuff like that, so anytime there's a project like that coming up, we can utilize those times.
Yeah. All right, and then we have number 16, which is authorize city manager to execute a task order with Mead and Hunt for airport engineering design for the automated weather observation system, AWAS, replacement project at the Kalinga Airport.
Do you have a question on that?
Just, is it an updating or just new or?
Yeah, I'd be replacing all the equipment, yeah. It's been down for, I think, 2 years, if not longer. And so we have been able to secure some of the Caltrans and federal funding through the FAA for this previous application round. And so we pushed out the 2 action items on the consent is, one, authorizing a contract with Mead and Hunt to do the design services, and this is the task order for the design services. So the application, all of the documentation is going to be submitted to the FAA on Monday. And that will include everything to secure some funding for this design effort. And then once we get through the design effort, we will be going after construction funding for the construction of it most likely next year.
Oh, okay, okay. That's my question.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no other questions on the agenda, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I do have another question, but I didn't pull it.
Go ahead.
Item 517, just really quick, could I get a definition of how this, non-paid reserve position works?
So it's basically a police officer just on a part-time basis, non-paid.
So they just volunteer, it's just
Yep.
a volunteer basis?
A lot of the
I was
positions.
gonna say, do you want to explain why they would do that?
So
Just to maintain their credentials or whatever. right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
historically, it's retirees who aren't quite done yet. They'll come back to work just to kind of volunteer and do cold cases. In this case, more specific, we have an officer who can't continue full-time duties, but still wants to maintain with the city and still do peace officer powers with the city. So they're seeking a non-paid spot to basically volunteer their time.
Are they able to help cover some, like, so the overtime, what would normally have to be overtime?
Yes, yeah, they have full peace officer powers. They still work a patrol shift or whatever detail we need, so they're police officers.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on the consent calendar? If seeing none, can entertain a motion?
I'll move to approve consent calendar, as it is.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved. Quite a long, lengthy consent calendar. Moving on to item number 6, ordinance presentation, discussion, and potential action items. First, I will ask, do we have any online comments? Nope, seeing none. Do we have any comment cards, Shannon?
We do not.
We do not, okay. 6.1 is discussion direction and potential action regarding amending the mural guidelines and procedures. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mayor. The mural guidelines and procedures were asked of Mayor Pro Tem Schindler to come back as a future agenda item, so this is that item. As a background, the council adopted the procedures in June 23, on June 23rd of 2016. And we are here to discuss that procedure. So at present, there's 4 steps to the procedure. Step 1 being the applicant submits the application to community development. Step 2 being the planning commission would review the proposed concept for general compliance. Step 3 would be a second hearing to basically decide on if they want to recommend to the city council. And step 4 would be city council making that, having a public hearing to make the final action on the mural. So without reading this whole long mural guidelines and staff recommendation, basically what we're recommending is that we eliminate several steps in here based on council's direction and make the process either 1 hearing or 2. So definitely up for a lot of questions. There's, I'm able to answer any questions you have, and yeah. Sorry.
And just to add one additional thing is really we're kind of seeking the council's direction in terms of any changes. This is the opportunity to kind of review the mural policy prior to us proceeding forward with one. We have a current application I know we've put on hold during this process, but also if there's any changes or recommendations council has, concerns that we can address and then bring back a final draft for reauthorization or reapproval per se from the council at a subsequent meeting.
All right, can I, let's open it up with Mayor Pro Tem Schindler, since this was his request.
Okay. Yeah. Mainly, I just want to do this the best we can, do it once, and then not have a whole bunch of people that it has to go through. So if we could go over this ordinance and do the best we can to sort it out to where it could just go through the community committee or the planning committee and avoid all the others. That's kind of what I'd be looking for. I don't think it needs to really come to the council unless And I don't know what you guys think, but unless there's an exception.
So you're looking
or
to,
a-
so you're looking from a procedural standpoint to have this as an administrative approving process rather than
would say
a
mostly.
discretionary or like by any kind of body?
Yeah,
Okay.
once it's set out, the standard's set out, I don't see why it should be anything but that. But that being said, there's a lot that I think is missing, as far as maintenance standards, designs, artistic rights. There's a ton of stuff out there, and you can get online, anybody can, and look up murals and what cities are dealing with. And they will do a standard ordinance, and then they're fighting it for years and making adjustments and dealing with lawsuits. And I just kind of want to avoid that, because I love the mural idea. I do. I just want to encourage, good, healthy community stuff, So,
So
I-
what I'm hearing, Mayor Pro Tem Schindler, is that you would like us to reevaluate this entire procedure and policy and bring it back again?
well, I mean, maybe we could give suggestions here. I don't know how much you're prepared to answer about, what the actuals are, but there's just a couple of concerns. For instance, maintenance standards, what are the requirements if it's vandalized? Whose responsibility is that? I get it, it's not their fault, and it's not the city's fault, but somebody's gotta deal with it. As it gets old and ages, our sun's horrible here. So they're not gonna last as long as they might last in other places, they're gonna need to be maintained. So what are those standards gonna be, and how are they gonna be dealt with? And then, maybe the content in 5 or 10 years is just not applicable to the community anymore, and it might need to come down. I'm just saying, these possibilities are out there that we might need to look at. And then on top of that, there's artists' rights. Once the stuff is put up, it's art, and they have rights, and then you have no control over that kind of thing. So there's just concerns, and I don't know if we could hash it out here, or if it's something that we need to have a committee on. I'm not sure. I'm open to suggestions.
I maybe, if I may, I believe the artist's rights are not applicable because the owner is contracting a painter to come paint their building. As any other painter, as soon as they're done with the project, I believe that they're.
I'm not disputing whether they are or they aren't, as long as, at some point they have to be waived, obviously, or else.
But that owner could also have an agenda to hire a person to paint. And the research I did, I saw communities that were successful and communities that failed. So it's art. Artists have visions and abstract to realism to all these different kinds of art through a different eyes of a different artist. So the cities that really struggled were strict cities that said, we have all these open walls, go for it. And it was anything from abstract art to political agendas to, it was just absolutely everything. Not only that, businesses sell, the art's there, it starts to peel and come down, nobody wants to pay for it, it's a struggle to get it covered, it's vandalized. There's no guidelines as far as upkeep. So the cities that were successful, they came up with a city theme. They had bullet points with, just to throw some things out there, a toad, an oil derrick, a flag, patriotism, stuff like that to pinpoint city pillars. They had, not only did they have to follow those guidelines, they also had to sign off on upkeep. So anytime there was even vandalism, if the city ever had to come back and repaint the whole wall, it would be at the cost of the owner because they didn't upkeep and take care of their art. Those were just some of the things that I saw, and through my research, there's a lot out there. The cities that failed, they said, yeah, we're gonna set this, and you can't put advertisement or these things on there, but they snuck in a lot of things, and once it's up there, it's up there. So I think if there's a theme, there's bullet points and guidelines we follow, and then also maintenance and upkeep that comes with it, that falls on the owners of the properties. And then there's a flow through town, we're targeting stuff like the Iron Zoo, the food court and all these things. And if you're driving through our main vein of town and you're seeing all this stuff that flows, it's gonna be a really good look all around the community.
Happy to take these these recommendations and bring you back another policy. Given what I'm hearing, it sounds like it might be better to keep a public hearing so that you're able to comment and disapprove or approve. And that some body remains in control. So if this is your direction, that's my recommendation.
So, one thing I'd like to add is, this policy, how old is it?
2016.
2016, okay, 10 years. So, we've just seen what's happened with, different cultural things that were once accepted that are no longer accepted, right? And then everyone wants to tear them down, and then people maybe think later, hey, it wasn't the best idea to do that. So I definitely want something to address those types of issues. I think a real good thing we should be doing is reaching out to other communities and looking at like what kind of best practices would be out there from other communities that are similar to ours that have went through this. Not all communities are the same. Obviously we probably wouldn't fit Long Beach's community in what they allow, maybe not LA, but if there was smaller communities that have murals and mural guidelines, we could actually find out what's worked and what hasn't worked for them. Like, hey, what could you do if you guys would have changed it earlier and things of that nature. So I'd like to see some kind of like best practices incorporated into this. That way we could look to see what other places do. And, I'm always looking at this through the lens of if council always has to approve things, then we're always going to be looked at as the good guy or the bad guy, and in some cases, both. And I just don't, like, for instance, with the cannabis, right? We took that out of our hands and gave it to administration, and we said we can create policy that can dictate what goes on, but we don't really want to be the authority agent on this because we don't want differing political views and different opinions, even from future councils, to kind of dictate this and tear the public apart. But that being said, we also don't want folks in that may have a political agenda to create murals that will make divisive statements in the city that would divide our community. So I don't know if that looks like direction to you, and I know that's quite a bit, but that's kind of what I'd like to see.
No, Mayor, that does. If it's okay, what I can do is I can bring back at the next meeting a full presentation with a PowerPoint and show what other cities are doing. This feedback was great. I can elaborate on the presentation and present what the direction you give me today is.
I have one other concern as well. The 10% ad space, I think it currently is right now. Doesn't sound like much unless the wall's, 40 by 100. So, I'm concerned about that signage stuff in the murals. Like concerned enough to say that there should be 0 ad space in the murals. And then there's no question about, well, how much do I have, 11% or 9.5%? And we're not gonna even get into that. So that's one of the concerns I had.
Okay.
Anybody else want to chime in on this? And obviously, this will be something that'll be brought back and we'll rediscuss. And I'm guessing that any one of us can reach out to Sean or Jesse with continued questions or comments or things that we'd like to see during the process. And then, yeah, if you could bring something back, would that be the direction of council?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They all good with that?
Yeah.
We need a vote or just direction's fine? Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Move on to item number 6.2, discussion, direction, and potential action regarding the adoption of resolution number 4337, calling for a municipal election to submit to the voters a local ballot measure extending a 1% transactions and use sales tax to fund Coalinga City services, including police and fire protection and other general services, and requesting the Board of Supervisors of Fresno County to consolidate a municipal election on a local measure with other elections to be held on November 3rd, 2026. Mario?
Thank you, Council. So you should have before you a resolution number 4337, excuse me. This is the resolution that, if passed, will ask the county to put the 1 cent extension on the ballot. This is not a new tax, this is an extension of the sunset date of the current tax. I'm gonna go through it briefly, but, paragraph 1 calls for the election. Again, not a new tax, but the extension of the sunset. The county has reviewed this resolution, and they had some requests. So section 2 calls for the measure designation. So it's a request to designate this as Measure J, which they haven't done in the past, but we can request that it get a particular letter, and so we're doing that. They also asked for a city representative to be in contact with, so we're doing that in section 3, and just to the city clerk or their designee. The actual text of the ballot language is in section 4, and that reads, shall the measure for the city of Coalinga that seeks to extend its general purpose 1 cent sales tax, Measure J, which is expected to generate $2 million annually, representing approximately 25% of the city's general fund revenues, with annual citizen review and independent audits to April 1st, 2039 be adopted, and you can select yes or no as a voter. The rest of it, I would tell you, is pretty much boilerplate language required. So things like requiring the city attorney to give an impartial analysis, which is required by law, how citizens can get the full text of the measure. The full text of the measure is also included in the packet. It's Exhibit A to the resolution. It's actually fairly short. All we're doing is amending 2 sections. One is the expiration date from April 1st, 2029 to 2039. And then we're adding a section about oversight, which I'd like to cover real quick. So we're adding a section into the code specifically for these funds, which reads, the following measures shall be initiated by the city as mechanisms for citizen oversight of the funds and expended from revenues generated by this chapter. So A, an annual citizens advisory committee. Beginning in the first quarter of each budget year, the city shall advertise for applicants to a citizen advisory committee to review community priorities and provide recommendations to the city council regarding the proposed use of Measure J revenues during the upcoming fiscal year. B, quarterly revenue reports. The city will publish quarterly reports detailing Measure J revenue collections. And C, annual expenditure report. An annual report will summarize how Measure J revenues were allocated and distributed during the previous fiscal year. So that section would be new, but if approved by the voters, would come into effect. I believe that's all the substantive changes that there were. And happy to answer any questions.
So this will still, this ordinance still gives it the ability to create like a priority list, correct? For what I know our public information has been working on with different people in the community to kind of listen to what the wants and needs are of the community. And I know that the council wants to make sure that we have some priorities in here that are front-facing to the public. Some projects, the last time around, we spent a lot of money on infrastructure, things of that nature that a lot of the public wasn't able to take advantage of because they just, it's not something they're going to see every day. But I know that this time around that there's been a lot of thought that, hey, we still need to get infrastructure, but we also want to make sure that those front-facing projects are for the public are, that we continue with that. And then also, the other thing that I just want to make sure of is that, and I know I've spoken with Mai about this, is that we're able to tag some of the Measure J money to do a better job at explaining to the public where the money is being spent, because the money is absolutely being spent on what we said it was going to. And a lot of times, at the city, we haven't done a good job at marketing ourselves and what we've done spending, and that's kind of one of the reasons that we brought on Jasenia and then also the public information person. But all of that is still, if we approve this, we're still able to do that, correct?
Yes, so every council can set its own priorities of how it wants to spend these monies.
Okay.
And again, I would emphasize that this is not increasing the taxes from their current level. So, meaning if it's not extended and it goes away, the council's gonna have to decide where that shortfall comes from. And so that would impact things like, you know, for the school swim hours, right? That money has to come from somewhere. And so certainly the council can do that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that we're asking this, is because we want to make sure that we do have priorities in there, and we do want to make sure that a lot of this stuff is front page in the public. And we also want them to understand that, unfortunately, you know, if it doesn't pass, we won't be able to continue doing some of these things. And we do have visions for the future of, you know, things that we can do with the public, and also taking care of our police, fire, city staff, infrastructure, working with our community partners, things of that nature. So, anybody have any questions or concerns about this?
I do.
Okay.
On the oversight section, it's A, B, and C. There's 3 items here. These are all 3 new?
Yes, all 3 of them are new.
And so item A is a committee to review community priorities and provide recommendations. Do they have an outline for, this was mandated, right?
Was not
Or is it
mandated.
just something that we,
It's not mandated.
oh, okay. Okay, because that would cover some of what your concerns were, right? That part A, right? Yeah. Okay, and all 3 of these, it's not just one of these, all 3 of these have to be done.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I had.
Any other questions? And I would just also like to point out that this did come, these 3 things that are in here on the oversight did come from extensive conversations with city staff and council members and the community to see what can we do to make sure that the community is aware of what we're spending on, and to make sure that they're also involved in the process. And so this is, we've listened, you know, we want to make sure that everyone is involved in this, and this will give everyone that opportunity. So if there's no other questions, if I could get I guess, do we need a roll call vote?
Hey, is this posted on our website, like where people can look at this document we're looking at?
Everything is getting prepared to be posted. So as soon as there's action taken, we'll have a lot of information being disseminated out to the public here within the week.
Okay,
Yeah, but it will be on the website. There will be a dedicated page on the website for Measure J.
There'll be a link where you guys can put it on the big old screen, and then our little kiosk.
Yeah, well, I'll talk with Jasenia. We probably be a QR code on our sign, but there will be a dedicated site that we've already drafted, and it'll probably go live sometime next week. Yeah.
Any other questions from council? Do we need a roll call vote for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll need a roll call vote, Shannon. Can I entertain a motion?
so,
Go ahead. No. I'm getting confused with this one. I would like to make a motion to adopt the changes on the measure.
So let's just be clear, you're making the motion to approve
To
the
approve,
measure.
I mean, yeah, to approve.
To approve the resolution number
Yes, just the
4337.
resolution.
As
Yes.
written.
4337.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Oh, actually, we need to do a roll call vote, huh? Yep, my bad. Some of these things are tricky. Some things we have to do a roll call on, so.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Schindler,
Aye.
Councilman Louder,
Aye.
Mayor Vosberg.
And I also vote aye. And that passes and moves forward. Thank you. Item number 7, announcements, city manager's announcements.
I have one. I'm going to defer my time to Shannon, just to give you guys a quick little update on the prior action.
Resolution 4334 that the council adopted, calling for the November 3rd general municipal election, required a couple of clerical corrections. District 5 was mistakenly referenced as District 4 in one place, and the District 5 term was corrected from 2 years to a regular 4-year term, and there were no other changes besides those.
Okay.
And I have no other announcements.
Anyone else with announcements?
I just want to thank Caltrans and everybody. They've been working hard, you know, being patient with the community, and I just want the community to be patient with them. I know, it's a cluster with traffic, but, at the long run, you'll see, that it pays off. And, I like what I'm seeing. It's a nice smooth road. That's what we wanted as a community. That's what we're getting. Liking what I'm seeing and, just asking the community to be patient. It's a lot of work and people are forgetting that it's 100 and something degrees and these people are working under that, so, and thanks. Oh, and, it was a great show. Loved it. 4th of July. I loved it. It was great. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. So, I like, that drone show it's amazing what they can do. So, anyone else?
If I could steal a second, I moved past my notes and realized that Ross is opening this weekend. Tomorrow, in fact. So very excited. They'll be doing soft opening, so be very patient with the new staff. They like, businesses like to do soft openings because they still, people are still in training. So I think, but they'll be open tomorrow, I think at 9. And then we have the grand opening on Saturday at 9. I think everyone will be arriving a little bit before, around 8 o'clock, and then 8:30 will be the grand opening ceremony. And so hope to see everybody out there. And, but yeah, we're looking forward to a new business here in town that I imagine is going to be extremely busy. So.
All right. City treasurer's announcements? Seeing none. Mayor's announcements, I have a few. First off, I want to thank everyone that made the Freedom Ring and the fireworks July 4th festivities an amazing time for Coalinga. I know that a lot of people routinely leave during that period of time, and and it was also a little bit hot in some of those times, but I think that for those that were here, which we did have a good turnout on both events, especially for the fireworks show and the drone show, that I think it really meant a lot. And I think the 250 birthday for America was a great time. And I want to thank the school. I want to for their efforts, and I want to thank Park and Rec. And I want to thank the Chamber, Scott. Oh my gosh. Amazing. The amount of time that Scott puts in out there for that type of stuff, I really, gratitude cannot be expressed for that amount. And I know he doesn't like hearing that because he's a humble person, but Scott, you knocked it out of the park again. You did a great job for the community. I want to thank all the city staff, police and fire for providing a safe opportunity for the 4th of July. Everyone was safe as far as I know. We did have some fires, and I don't want to minimize, that type of stuff. But, I think that overall, everyone did a really good job in that, including the public. I mean, I did see a lot of fireworks, going off at nighttime, probably I look at it, I come from a community in the Midwest where fireworks go up in the air every single year, and it's completely legal and it's completely allowed and everyone loves it. But things do not catch on fire like they do here. And so when there's 90% barometer and humidity in the Midwest, there is none here. And so I just want to remind everyone, and especially the people that are continuing to do this, that every time you pop up one in the air, what goes up has to come down, and it can catch a house on fire, and you would not want your neighbor's house to catch on fire. At least most people, I hope not. And so just thanking everyone in the community for everything that they did. I really appreciate that. City staff, everyone that was involved, city council, everyone who came down there, and the public, for making it happen. Then next announcement I want to make is really near and dear to me because I spent a long time. I think multiple council people worked on Measure C, which was set for renewal, and I'm really frustrated with the county supervisors over this, what they've called a tax scam. And the only scam part is the county wasn't going to get the money. Let's just be honest. The city was getting double the amount of money, and the county was not going to get the money. And so basically it was a giant stall tactic the entire way through. which, you know, a lot of us called out. And then once it did finally get to the end, another stall tactic is in play right now in requesting a report to be done about the finances, which we know that none of the supervisors who voted yes, that would not change their mind. So this is just another stall tactic to keep it off of the ballot. And what really sucks is there was a lot of work put into that by a lot of people to try and get that to the ballot. And they did. I think they got like 38 to 40,000 signatures, maybe a little bit more. And then a lot of 2 or 3 years from mayors across the city. I think 11 mayors, including Fresno and Clovis, voted in favor of this to move it forward to the ballot. And the county fought us the entire way. I respect the county. I respect I respect their authority. If this was the opposite and reversed, and something came to the state and the state did this, they would be unhappy and they would be calling it out, because there's a process to move things to the ballot for the public. And when that process is done, to stop it with a report or delay it, it's just really unfortunate. So I just want to call that out and say, hey, I'm frustrated from that, because I was a huge supporter of Measure C, and don't believe everything that you read in the media, especially from media agencies that have developers as the owners of the media agency, and the people that are constantly pushing that this is a bad idea because the tax dollars would not go outside of Fresno to the new developments. They would have to stay inside of Fresno and actually fix the roads inside of Fresno and inside of Coalinga. And so that's basically where the cut came from. But it would, I highly suggest people, if this comes to vote, if for some reason, I'm a huge proponent of it, because it requires PCIs in towns like ours, I think of 70%. In certain places, we're in between 50 and 70, but it'd be really nice to have all the roads nice. And that's one of the biggest problems, is we don't have the money to do all the roads. Roads are really expensive. So we're really lucky that Caltrans is doing these roads. I know that it's been labeled a nightmare on Elm Street. And when it goes down to 2 lanes and you have bike lanes and you have walking lanes, I think there will be a little bit of heartburn from this, but I do think over time that more people will realize some benefits. One is going to be the major traffic problems that we have with people getting hit by cars and people speeding. This absolutely will slow that down. But I think that we'll see the final results as it comes through, and hopefully it will improve things in the long term. Caltrans did say that they would help make adjustments, and they've already made some adjustments to the areas of where we would start to see the lanes move down from 4 to 2. And so, looking forward to that. That should be interesting. And that is the only announcements that I have. Anybody else further announcements before we move on to future agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Anyone have future agenda item?
I do. So, we already talked about it earlier. I would like you to explore or create some sort of youth program for the landscaping stuff and any other thing that we possibly could do there, and work with the school if they have a program already in place. Work with that maybe, so we can figure out.
Anyone else?
I don't know if this falls under a new agenda, but I'd like to approve, I know football is about to start, but the kids have been going out there. There's an individual that's taking the cost to pay for all the kids to go swimming. I want to see how we could just give them that time. I know they're gonna rent out the pool. I'd like to see that getting sponsored or eliminate the cost for the team.
What football team is that?
The JV and our varsity,
High school?
or high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know how that works. I know it's $2 per person, but this person's taking the cost for it. So, because it's usually parents help, but there's minimal parents. We got a lot of new kids in football. Some of them that never put pads, but, these parents are getting the information, but, she's taking the cost. She wants to make sure that football players get what they deserve, so.
So are you requesting that the city might work to try and find some sponsors for this?
Yes, or
Okay.
just to, have them waive off the $2 per kid on that.
Is it for a single day? Is that what it is?
Yes, it's just for a single day. Yeah. Yes, yeah, go.
Information on that?
Okay,
Yeah, I would like to, maybe, through Sean, if I could get some information on that.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to let me know who the individual is? So you don't have to tell me now. I mean, if we want to
yeah,
do it
yeah,
afterwards,
yeah.
just so we have the information.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, thank you.
Councilman Rivers, do you know what day that is?
It's supposed to be, I just got informed 2 days ago about it, so I'll get it to you by tomorrow, today. Tonight, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other future agenda items? All right, I have a couple. I would like, for just, Jasenia and Mai, to help create a how to not pay fees while paying your city bill. Like, I keep getting from the public, it's telling me that it's impossible, and I'm having to walk them through the process. And so it's actually not impossible, it's actually really easy. You go to your bank, you set up a payee, you put in your account number, you put in the city as the name and the address, and then you sign up for city emails. And when they send you your bill in your email, you don't even have to log back into the city. You can see what it is, and then you can go and you can make that payment from your bank, and then 2 days later, you're gonna get an email from the city saying it's paid. But the general population, I guess, doesn't know how to do this. And so, a lot of people don't. And so I just want to make sure that we market this to the public because, we're not benefiting from these fees. And so I want to make sure that the public knows that there's a way to do this. And if it takes visiting 3 banks like ECU, Chase, US Bank, and taking screenshots of their process of how to do it, obviously not with information, but just screenshotting how to do it, because that's what I've had to do to send this to some residents, and after they get it, they're like, wow, that's amazing, and now I don't have to pay. And I'm like, yeah, and we don't want you to have to pay either. But if we can just get some kind of process like that, that way we could kind of see that, I think that'd be great. And then I want to create a future agenda item for the state of the city to be in September, and I'd like to have maybe some ideas brought forward on how we could do this. I've seen a lot of cities around are doing it. I see the counties doing it, where the council and the mayor can be involved, and we can give insights on certain things that have happened or are happening in the city, so that we can get that outreach out to the public. And I'd like to have it be some type of thing that's more than just like an address. Like maybe we can do concessions, or maybe we can do something to where we can bring people in and really get, if the state of the college does their thing, I'm not trying to go that big, but I do want to create something to where that, people can really come in and kind of like talk and look and see what's going on. So, and sometime in September, I think September would be a good time. That gives you guys a little bit of time to plan this type of thing as well. And also, like I said, include the whole council, city treasurer, everybody, reaching out to see like what kind of projects and things that we could highlight to the public and things that we've done. And then, kind of the last thing, and I don't know that this needs to be a future agenda item, this kind of just direction, is just I would like to have, make sure that our information person is reaching out to our stakeholders and to our partners, and I would like to actually make an effort to have some of them after that we've had some conversations down the line. I know that in the past that we've worked to do this with people to get a resolution passed, or just something simple to where that we can get some letter of support from the agencies that are around us. Maybe work with the school district, the park and rec, the college. I know that we've done some things in the past to help folks on these types of things too, and I think it does make a big difference when we are a giant community and we're helping each other move forward in this. So, like I said, I don't know if that requires a future agenda item or if this is kind of more just like direction, but yeah. And that is all I have. Anything else from council? Future agendas? No? All right. Let's see here. it looks like we're going to be moving to closed session. We have city manager's performance evaluation, government code 54957B. We have real property negotiations, 54956.8, APN portion of 0852058. Then we have conference with labor negotiations, government code 54957.6. City negotiator, city manager, Sean Brewer and Mario Zamora. Organizations, general employees, non-safety employees, firefighters, non-represented group, and Coalinga Police Officers Association. And then we have number 4, which is a conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. One case, 54956.9, D subsection 4. Do we think that we'll be reporting anything out?
We do not.
We do not. Okay, so this part of the meeting is over, and I appreciate everyone coming. Thank you so much. Meeting adjourned.